and get in to speak to us. Everyone, Nicholas is here today to speak to us about booking and Dynamics 365 sales and how they work better together. So, Nicholas, if you're ready, please take it away.
Perfect. Thank you, Sharon. And thank you, Ross, as always, for the invitation, for allowing me to be on these great events that you managed to organize and to deliver. For me, it's always an honor to be part of these events. So, as it was presented, this session was going to be about Booking Plus the next 365 sales because that was the first use case that I have, as a challenge to try to integrate both solutions. But the truth is that it evolved, and now it's going to be more like Booking Plus Power Platform because we're going to see not only applies for the MX365 sales, it will apply for the MX365 customer service or field service, and actually for any other process that requires that a customer schedule a meeting or schedule a service with an organization. So anything from education to professional services, it's going to be possible here with Booking and Power Platform. So for who doesn't know me, you're really lucky. But let me present myself. I am Nico Fernandez. It's easier than Nicolas. I'm MVP in business applications. I've worked with CRM implementations and no-code, low-code solutions since 2009. Actually, it wasn't Dynamics, it was Sugar CRM. And back then, I didn't like Dynamics too much. Then in 2014, I joined Accent Consulting as first partner, Dynamics partner, and I started my career in the Dynamics CRM, Dynamics 365 customer engagement, and then Power Platform. Right now, I'm a solution architect in HCL PowerApps, working in the pre-sales team. And I co-founder, this sounds really big, but actually this is an initiative, a project that I have with a few colleagues to empower the community, to help the community grow in different aspects. So if you would like to know more 365 initiatives in LinkedIn, web, Twitter, you can find us. So we're going to have three moments during the session today, actually four, because we're going to see a live demo on the solution. The first of all, it's a quick introduction. What are the Power Platform portals? What is Booking? And why should we care about this possible integration? Then we are going to discuss actually how the solution works. And at the end, we are going to have a slide to understand how we are going to implement it. So it's really easy. It's not difficult. You don't need to be a developer or anything like that. One curious thing or one important thing is I am not a developer. My background is a functional consultant that I became a solution architect and I started working in pre-sales. So I'm never going to show something that requires code because I don't know coding. So that's the main reason. So everything is going to be no code, low code, and I will try to provide also some insights on where is the value for the business, because even if you are all working technology, if we can translate the benefits to the business value, to the business people, probably it will be harder to explain to the customer. Of course, there are different types of stakeholders in the customer. You have the more IT people, the CIO, and on the IT crew. But then we have the business people, sales, marketing, customer service, operations, HR, finance, etc. So I think as a consultant, we need to speak both languages. Mostly if you are a functional consultant and solution architect, we need to be able to speak with both groups of stakeholders. And that's why I always try also to include some of these insights on the business value of the solution that I'll try to show. So without any further introduction, let's set what are the two big goals that I think this session has. And the first goal, of course, is to share one solution on how to integrate another Office 365 application with Power Platform or Dynamics 365, depending on the solution or yes, the type of the Dataverse environment that you're going to use. And the second point, I think, is to open discussions. And this is not for the session itself, but the idea is to open discussions with your teams, with your colleagues, on how this type of integration could solve some problems, so real problems to your customers. So, or if you are a final customer or final user, how this solution could solve a problem for you. So, first of all, this is something probably you will see a lot today. A quick introduction of what are the Power Apps portals. Basically, for me, it is the easiest way to build a web portal that is integrated with Dataverse or with Dynamics 365 for external and external user. So I won't talk about licensing. It change if you are going to use a PowerApps portal for external users or internal users. And actually, if it's for external users, you will have different types of licensing or add-ons to consider. And of course, you will need to understand what are your use cases before you design the portal, before you actually design the solution. But regardless of that, if it's going to be for internal or for external users, PowerApps portal for me is the easiest and fast way to get a web portal that is going to integrate with Dynamics or with Dataverse, with populate, with show data, will have a security model really easy to manage. So you don't need to develop anything from scratch. It is there to use, and of course, pay as you use. So that's the ugly part. But okay, why should we using should we use a Power Apps portal on a project? Well, Dynamics or Microsoft offer us this solution for self-service channels, so we can offer that to our customers, vendors, partners, or any other stakeholder, any other actor, any other persona in our processes. It's really easy to integrate as part of the Power Platform. It's really easy to integrate with the rest of the components, and it has a no-code, low-code approach. So it means that I, Nicolas Fernandez, can deploy a portal without any development. So that's really nice. And I've been working with this solution since I think 2015 with ADX. Back then, it wasn't part of Microsoft's portfolio. Actually, after it was acquired, Microsoft acquired ADX Studio, they rebranded as CRM portals, then Power Apps portals, because of course they don't depend on CRM, on Dynamics 365. You can have a portal starting with a blank portal without any Dynamics 365 process, and still it's going to be a Power Apps portal. So that is the second part. How should we start with a portal? We have different flavors of portals. But actually, there are two big groups, or one big group and one small group. So the first option is to start with a template, and Microsoft is offering us. I think right now there are five different templates: the customer self-service, the employee self-service, the partner portal, and you have flavors for PSA or field service. You have I don't remember now the other templates, and then you have the blank portal. Depending on the solution, depending on the use cases, depending on what you want to provide, as an experience and the processes that you want to deploy in that portal, it's going to be your starting point. If it's going to be a template and which template, or if it's going to be a blank portal. And even if you want to start for a customer self-service portal, maybe, and this is a maybe, you don't want the customer service template because it has another process is already built as part of the template that maybe you don't need them, and to build a case form, an entity form, an entity list is not complex. You have a wizard, you have the new designer, so it's really easy to create new pages on the portal. So even if your processes are aligned with the template, maybe you still prefer to start from scratch. One important thing is the native templates. They are designed, being uh, compliance with all the accessibility regulations, and if you use them, you know that you're going to have more accessible portal. But regardless of the approach, you can have one or the other. And then we have Booking. Booking is an application from Office 365. Not all the Office 365 licenses has Booking included as the rights as the applications that your users can have. But if you have, I think it's the E5. I know the E5 includes it. If you have it, it's a great way to enable web portals, really easy web. It's one page portal actually, but it's a web page where your customers, vendors, or the other persona that you are interactive can schedule a service with you. And there's a lot of things that you can manage here. Of course, you can have as many calendars as you need. You can have on each calendar one or many persons, one or many staff members. Then you can define the services. This is the most important part because that is where you're going to define not only how long is going to be the appointment that is going to be created, but also if it has any cost associated, if it's only for one customer or if it's for a group, or if it's in the individual customers can schedule on the same service at the same time. So it is important to understand how you want to manage your services and how you want to offer them, because that part of booking is really interesting. Actually, it allows you also to ask for more information. As a native, as an out of box service, you will have for fields. We will see that in a bit. But then you can add more fields, more questions to your customers, preferences, whatever. So you can provide a more personalized experience when you deliver and you provide actually that service. And then, of course, you have the full control of the booking with the calendar, independently of who is the user assigned to that booking. For example, if you have free people, free employees included in that calendar, you will see as part of that calendar, every booking that all those people has. And there is something really interesting of this, because if you think of integrating booking with Power Platform, you have a more strong solution. And why is that? Because you will be including those appointments, that those processes that you have in Dynamics 365 probably, or in your custom application, with the appointments and the processes that you have in booking. So you will be breaking the silos, the data silos, and you will be actually building bridges between two different tools, two different applications that have some similar processes. You will be empowering your customers. Think yourself as you are a salesperson, and you want to book a meeting with the customer, and you don't want to, say, okay, give me 3 options to schedule next week, and then the person replies to you, and maybe none of the options that he gives you are good for you, and then starts, a big thread of, okay, and what about the Wednesday or Friday or whatever, and it's at the end, it's really hard, to consolidate, to agree on one meeting, and even more if there are a lot of people to include. Well, with this integration, you will be able to send a link to your customer, say, okay, this is my availability, just book a meeting. And actually, you can have different options of meetings where you can say, okay, it's a 1 hour meeting, it's a 2 hours demo, it's a 3 hours presentation, wherever. So the person can access and can say, okay, this is the type of meeting I want to schedule with you, and you actually it's going to block your calendar. But the most important thing is that your availability is not only based on that calendar. It's based on everything that you have on your calendars in Outlook. So if you have an appointment already in Dynamics 365, even if it's not visible on booking, your availability is going to be blocked on that time. And of course, all the information that we can acquire, we can get from the bookings, we can use it on Dynamics, on our applications, to automate communications, to automate some reminders regardless of what Booking has an out-of-box functionality. So where is the benefit for the business? And there's two big problems or two big considerations. The first, if we can improve the customer experience, and this is quite important now because companies are focusing on that, on providing the best experience for the customers. And on the second hand, we have the possibility to simplify the processes for the employees. And then again, this is another thing that companies are focusing right now. This solution doesn't apply to every company, no, but it's a good solution for some use cases that you may encounter in your companies or maybe with your customers. So some of the scenarios: customer service. If you need to, schedule a call with customer service with help desk, this could be good because instead of again asking for some options or proposing something, is okay. We need to schedule a call to solve your problem. This is my availability. Please schedule whenever fits. Ever works for you. Another classic scenario, I already mentioned it before, is sales. And it goes from, we are going to see the scenario on the demo after this slide, but it goes from, okay, a lead is created and I want to schedule a web meeting, an online meeting, a Teams call. You can automate that process. You can provide the customer, and we'll see different ways to do it. You can provide them, this solution so they can schedule the call with your sales representative, and then you can accelerate the process. Of course, if we have customer service, we also have field service. And I know there is an out-of-the-box solution or out-of-the-box functionality to schedule appointments for field service. But then again, this is another use case. And as I always say, it's better to have more options and then to choose the one that works better for each solution or each scenario, sorry. Then we have interviews, and this goes from HR processes to higher education, process where they need to qualify the people that are trying to be a student. So if there is any type of application process and you need to have some interviews and you have a process to validate documentation, to validate the candidate, then again, HR or any type of process, then this solution it is failed. Because at the moment when the process comes to the stage of the meeting, you can automate again the sending of this link, so the customer or the person that you are interviewing can define, okay, the best moment for the interview, and the interviewer doesn't have, to do anything. It's going to go on background based on his availability, and that's all. And of course, this, as I mentioned, applies not only for in-person, meetings or in-person services, but also for online meetings, and that's something that Booking allow us to do. Okay. So we have three big actors, if you like, as part of the solution, and there is not one architecture because it will depend on your business, requirements, which is going to be, the final solution. And then again, we're going to talk about two different possible flows, two different business process flows. I'm not talking about the functionality, but the business flow itself. So we have from Office 365, as minimum, we will have Outlook and we have Booking as two core components of the solution. Then if we think about Power Platform, we'll have PowerApps, and there is going to be an optional, because if we are going to implement this on a sales process, we are not going to talk about PowerApps. But if you have a custom HR application, then you will talk about PowerApps. If you have the higher education accelerator, you will talk about Dynamics, not necessarily sales customer, regardless of the license that you need. So depending on which are the business processes where you're going to leverage on Booking, it will depend, on the application that you are going to need as part of your architecture. It could be PowerApps, it could be Dynamics, any of the solutions, or maybe an accelerator. Then we have the portals, and again, of course, this is portals bootcamp, and this is part of what we're going to see, and we're going to see two different ways to integrate with portals. But allow me to say it is not actually required, because the process, we'll see, we can unattach it from the portal, and of course we can have it without any portal. And of course, Power Automate is something that we uh, used to have on almost every project. There's always an automation to do. We can also use Power Regulations, because if we want, to have some validations to be sure that the person requires actually, to schedule something, we can have a bot, and as part of the conversation, we can suggest, to schedule something, share with the user, the customer, vendor, whoever is chatting with the bot. We can send them, the calendar link, and then he will schedule it. So power regulation is a possible, component to the solution. And then, of course, as I mentioned, Dynamics 365. So before we jump to the demo, because we are going to see both scenarios, I like to share two possible, then again, scenarios or business process flows. Then again, it's not the functionalities, it's a flow itself. So on how this, how could you implement it? So you can have a contact form directly on the portal. Then when the lead, for example, is created, you can have a process to assign the lead to the specific person. And then you have two branches. Maybe as soon as you assign the lead, you want, an email to be sent with the link to, to suggest the customer to schedule the meeting. Or you can wait until there is a manual proof, to say, okay, this lead is mature enough, I have enough information. Then again, I'm saying lead, but actually it can be a person applying for a scholarship, or a person applying for a master degree, to be a student. So any process, this apply as well. So regardless of if it's an automatic, approvement, or manually approved situation, then we will send the link. We'll see what it means when we go to the demo, and then the person will schedule the service. We can add some validations and some, record creation rules, and then from Outlook we can sync that appointment to Dataverse, or with Dataverse. Okay. The other approach is I could directly embed the form, this booking calendar directly in the portal. So I can skip many of the stages if it's if it's what the business like, or what the business needs. So we don't need to do all the other steps. We can actually, as part of our portal, we can embed this calendar, and when we do that, we can directly work with this scheduled appointment. On which scenario this is a good approach? Probably, well, if you have uh, account managers, covering, or managing directly a few accounts, and they are responsible for the account, you can enable them to access to the account, the customer to access to the account manager calendar directly, and schedule a meeting. So for some VIP customers, or some enterprise customers, where you have this one-one relationship, there's something that may apply. So everything is good and looks nice and shiny on the presentation, but I would like to show you a little bit of how does it work. So this is booking. For the people didn't know about it, here's where you can create different calendars. In this case, I only have one, and Fernandez VA. So On this calendar, I will see all the bookings that any of the staff member has, okay, with the customers and the description on all the categories and all the information that I request to the customer at the moment that he scheduled this meeting. Actually, I can create a booking myself, so there's no necessary, I can select the service that I want to schedule, and then I can say, okay, who's the customer, which the email, phone number, etc. So I can add everything manually in case, of course, you have somebody taking phone calls. So we're going to discard this. The booking page is when I say we send the link, it's because we can send this link, so the customer will enter to this page. On this page, they will see the availability for each day, okay? And they can select the service. In this case, there's only one service available. And I cannot see right now, but there could be one member of staff or many. In this case, there's only one, so it is more simple for me. But I can also allow the user to select which staff member they want to meet. And we have here the details that I am asking as part of the scheduling, and this is something that you configure as part of the service. So let's back to booking. Then again, you have all the information, and this is where you configure what I say. If I want to allow the customers to select the staff member or not. In this case, I'm not allowing it. So on the first scenario, I had a portal. This is the ugly out of the box customer service portal, and I say ugly because it doesn't have the best look and feel. And I will submit this form, so I directly will create a lead on the background. Okay, so what will happen? And if everything goes well, the lead is created, and now it just execute this flow. And this is really simple flow. What it does, it sends an email, a thank you email with the link to with calendar, with the link that I show you. And this is not opening. Okay, this is quite simple, and it's only sending an email saying, hi customer, thank you for contacting us. You can find our availability here, and of course it's something that then the customer will take an action. This is simple because this is a demo, and this doesn't have any type of assignment, any assignment rule. But if you assign this lead to a specific salesperson, and if you want each salesperson to have their own calendar booking, you can have that. And this is something that you can dynamically retrieve and get as a dynamic content to add to this email. In this case, it's something static. This is a demo in a community event, and the idea is to show the concept of this integration, and then it's amazing, and it's really wide what you can do with it, and depends on your business requirements, on how your customer, how your organization requires to implement this. Okay, so this is the first approach, and then I can show you. Let me switch to here. So I just received this email, okay, and I received this link. I click here and it opens the booking. So I can say, okay, I want to schedule for Tuesday, and as you can see, there's a lot of difference between the availability on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So why is that? If you recall, we can go back here and we can see that on Monday we have already 2 things scheduled. So it's normal to see less availability on Monday than Wednesday. But what's happening on Tuesday? Well, I already mentioned it to you what could happen, and I will show it now. On Tuesday, I have a placeholder meeting in Dynamics. So let me change work week, and let me change the week. So I have this huge placeholder meeting in Dynamics. Okay, actually it's in my calendar regardless if it's in Dynamics, but I created in Dynamics, and because I have the Dynamics 365 for Outlook application created, I could any of these meetings also send it to Outlook, to Dynamics. But I have this meeting, and since I have this meeting, the calendar won't show any availability between 9 and 3 p.m. And this is taking, then again, the availability from my calendar, and that meeting was synced to Outlook because I have the mailbox configured on Dynamics 365. So this is one way to ensure that any type of appointment that you have right now on Dynamics won't be, affected, won't be overbooked with something on booking. Okay, so and this is something we can see. We have the appointment here, really simple. I assume that you probably know already how it works, but as a quick reminder, I configure, and this is something we'll talk about on the last slide, because this is the how can I get it done, So the second scenario was, instead of having the contact us form, I can embed directly here this. Sorry, let's open this one because it has the newest look and feel. So I can open this calendar as an embed calendar on my portal. This is PowerApps portal. So I can open this, I can see the same, and I can schedule everything without the need to submit something through the portal. There is, of course, there's nothing a perfect, integration here. If I complete this form, this will create contact in Outlook. It's not going to create it on Dynamics, and you need to to contemplate a validation process so you can ensure that this person that is booking something with you is actually a person, and which person is on Dynamics. Then again, it will depend on how you implement this, the type of validations that you need to do. But this, then again, these two possible integrations. One, after you submit something on the portal, and then you take that lead information, for example, to send them the booking, so you can book your services more easily, your meetings more easily. Or the second is directly you can put the booking page and web on the portals and allow them to do it. Okay. So how easy is to set this thing up? And it's really easy. The first thing you need to do is you need to configure the calendar, the services, which members are part of the calendar, because maybe you want to have a calendar for all your sales team, or maybe you want a calendar for each sales member. You need to configure the services. You need to take in consideration, if you want to, if it's a group calendar, if you want the customer to select the staff member or not. So all these considerations that I mentioned, some are things that you need to take in place. The second thing is you need to configure Dynamics 365 for Outlook, for every affected user. Actually, you need to configure the mailbox. By configuring Dynamics 365 for Outlook, you will be enable the user to to sync any appointment created with booking, to sync it back with Dynamics. So that's why it's Dynamics 365 for Outlook. For the availability, it's not required. Only you need to have the mailbox with the appointments synced. Then you need to choose how are you going to work with the portal. If it's going to be an embed calendar in the PowerApps portal, if it's going to be a dynamic embed calendar, depending on the user, depending on the account manager. It will depend on what you want, or how you want to deploy it, or maybe you want to create a flow like the one that I sent you, and take actions after the record is created. I create the flow to be triggered when the lead is created, but maybe, as I mentioned, you want to the salesperson, or maybe if it's an application process, you want somebody to validate that that person actually requires, and it's mature enough to have a meeting or a booking. At last, you need to define different validations and different record creation rules. It, it's not hard. Again, I am not a developer, and then it's really easy to do. I will show you one example. I think it's this one here. So when a booking is created, what's happening? Let me do that live. So if I schedule something, for example, for this Wednesday, 10 a.m., there was nothing on the Wednesday, and I say it's going to be Sean Luck. I have no skills to speak and write at the same time. Sorry for that. So there's all the rest. The rest fields are optional, so I won't fill them. Now this is schedule. And the first thing that I will see is that this will appear on my on my calendar, and this is why I say that the integration with Dynamics 5 for Outlook, it's important, because if I want to sync this back with Dynamics, I only need to say, okay, I will create this one regarding what, okay, and there's some manual intervention here. I need to look for Sean Locke. I can grab the name, I can put it here, or I can actually, if there's something easy, I can select it and it's already done. The other thing we can do, since this is a message that is, has the same format every time, you can create a Power Automate, and if it works perfectly, it should be okay. We have a success. We can see it. It doesn't create anything. It doesn't validate it. The only thing I did was, you're going to see. So when the event, so when the appointment was created, I took the body, and I transformed the HTML to text, and I trim it so I can, get the information piece that I need to validate if this customer, if this lead, this account, whatever, actually exists in Dynamics, and related. So you can automate these type of things. If it's not in Dynamics, you can create it. And if flows show us the flow, it will be great. Then again, no. So it's really easy. I just transform it, and then I took the email from it. So you can see that what is the what I'm taking, what is the output, and then after that I will take only the email. So with this email I can do whatever any validation, and actually I'm not limited to the name, email, address, or whatever. As I mentioned, as part of the service, you can define, let me check where it was. You can define the fields. Okay, here, sorry, custom fields. So I can create any type of question. It can be a drop-down question, can be, open text, text field. So I can ask for more information, and maybe that information is one that will allow me to relate records in with Dynamics or with my PowerApps, if it's custom model-driven app or whatever. So it's important for you to know we are not limited for with these four fields, and there's also other authentication configuration that you can ask. For example, on the booking page, you can say, okay, I require Microsoft 365 or an Office 365 account. That will give you some security that that person is the email that is is it's logged at the moment of the request. So we go back. So it's really easy from the technical standpoint, it can become a little more nasty depending on the requirements. And as always, the final design will depend on the requirements. So this is only another tool that I want to share for you to know that it's there, but it's not, like a hammer for every nail. You need to understand your business requirements to know how to is the best way to implement it. So it's really open to that. That's all. So I'm open for any question. That there is my contact information for you. Before that, I have a big thanks. But I don't know if there's questions
Hi.
or yes.
Yes, Nico. A couple of things. If you could kindly add your contact details
Yes.
to the chat, that would be amazing.
Oh, yes,
We
sure.
do have a few questions, actually. If you're up for answering a few questions, that would be amazing.
Yes, I cannot guarantee that I will be able to answer that on live, but I can go back to the person that is asking.
Okay. Okay. So, the first question was, does PowerApps Portal give the facility to design or create PowerApps forms and Power Automate? And I think you showed a little bit of this, of how this works in your demo.
Well, actually, the PowerApps portal use the same forms as the model-driven app, and it's called Entity Forms, if they didn't rename it already. So for any form, for example, the contact form, the contact us form that I show you, this one here that I will click here, this one, not the other one that is here. So this form actually is a form created in Dataverse. Then the portal will take that form and show it. It's really easy to this part of the portal. It's not complex at all. And no, you cannot create Power Automate from the portal itself. You can leverage on Power Automate from the portal.
Lovely. Thank you. Yes. The next question was, where is the booking record stored? Is it actually stored in the Dataverse?
No, it is stored in Outlook. That's why the Dynamics 365 for Outlook app, it's important. So you can take this one and say, okay, I want to relate it to, I will add anything. And now it's going to be sync, and now it's going to be in that verse. So now if I go to here and I refresh, I have the initial consult function log regarding another thing, because I didn't care because this is a demo, but this is the way that you can take that appointment, like any other appointment that you have in Outlook, to that verse.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. And then we have a question about logged in users. Can the portal recognize a logged in user and pass their details onto booking when it's embedded in the portal?
I don't know.
So, well, there was going to be one,
lie.
wasn't there, Nico, right?
I assume that there's probably a way, but I don't know. There's something that I can try to dig. I will look for it.
Thank you.
But probably will require some coding, so I won't be the person to do it. But I will look for it in case I can find something. I think it's a map, right? Yes. I will try to reach you on LinkedIn or whatever. If you reach me on LinkedIn, I will try to give you some clearance on this.
Okay, fine. Okay. So, um, the last question is to do with the availability of users, and it is the availability of users for appointments synced with the Outlook calendar and D365 via server-side sync?
Yes, the only thing that you require is to have the mailbox. I can show it to you. It will, well, it's on the nasty part of because it's in the classic interface yet, the mailboxes, but I can try to show you. So to have your availability, take in consideration, the only thing that you need to do is to create your mailbox and configure it to sync. Oh, it was really fast. Wow, I can't believe it.
Yeah,
So
that's probably the quickest I've ever seen it.
yeah, crazy. So yes, this is another thing you need to do. So once you have your mailbox approved, and tested and enabled, your availability will be shared because now anything you do here will be synced, not other way. Okay.
Okay, that's absolutely lovely. Thank you. I don't think we have any more questions in the chat. We do have some comments about how helpful, how clear, how precise the session was. So thank you very much for that, Nico.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Monica.
thank you.
I thank you, and I won't pay you for the comment.
Well, I thought it was awesome as well. So, and I was definitely able to follow it. So thank you. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks a lot. Perfect. And then, well, I will put my contact information. Let me go back here. So they're all hidden. You shouldn't see that. Okay. It's on the format of the presentation, so
Wonderful.
it's ugly on the chat, but they're on the chat already.
Well, it's functional. It's functional, right?
Yeah.
We like that. We like things that work. Okay, Nico, that's fantastic. Thank you very, very much for coming along and speaking to us today.
Thanks to you for organizing these type of events as always. And well, if anybody has any question, please reach me, and I will try to give you clearance.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.